Okay. Get started. Welcome in, Olive Raiders, over there on the YouTube. I see you. Welcome in. Hello, hello. You got lost, Mia. How'd you get lost? I sat down on the street, took a look at myself. I said, you know, the world is headed by. Say your goodbyes if you've got someone you can say goodbye to. Good morning. Guys, let's start doing all of the good things as we come in. I appreciate you. If you're over there on... Oh my god. Thank you so much for the Viking hammer. Thank you. If you guys are watching over there on YouTube, can you hit that thumbs up button for me, please? I appreciate it. It does help push us out. Thank you so much for the Viking hammer. W. Thank you so much, guys. But if you're on TikTok, let's keep tapping. Start getting that going. Send your daily heart me. Good morning, good afternoon to those of you on the East Coast. I appreciate you being here. Happy Titties Out Tuesday. How's everybody doing today? I'm in a mood, and I can't tell if it's because of what's going on or if it's the weather. Maybe both. We'll see. But as we get started this morning, please make sure if you are on TikTok that you are tapping that screen, sharing the live out, doing your daily heart me. If you have not done so, stops and looks. Hold on, Chris. Hold on. There we go. Got to make sure they're out. Do your daily heart me if you have not done so. Remember, when you're sharing, you can repost, you can add it to your story, you can share it to 5 of your friends. I would appreciate it if you guys do that. Thank you so much. You guys got those roses accomplished, so thank you. I've got the little press start button now. And don't forget my gift gallery. I know it gets tougher as we rise higher in the gift gallery rankings, but if you have extra coins that you can dump on the gifts in the gift gallery, you can check crashes internet. You can check that by clicking my profile picture. It says C5 gift gallery. If you can drop something out in there and get it accomplished, I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. If you're over there on YouTube, guys, just hit that thumbs up button for me. I would appreciate it. Helps boost us in the algorithm. And over there on Twitch, hi guys, I see you. If you choose to subscribe, you get access to stickers. You guys can send me bits over there. Don't forget on YouTube, there are super chats in case the chat starts going too fast and I can't get to you. So we can get our day started with Work Wife.
I did the redirect.
You did. I saw. I was like, yay, it worked. I'm so glad it worked.
I did it. Yay. That's all.
That's all. Guys, don't forget we went over it yesterday because yesterday was midterm Monday, but today is the actual voting day. So if you don't remember, you can go watch literally like the first 10 minutes of my start of my video yesterday, and you can see, or you can go to Ballotpedia that has the election calendar and see that there are a lot of primaries going on today. Specifically, one of the big ones that's being talked about, right, is the Republican primary in Kentucky, where Thomas Massie is trying to hold on to his seat. And though I am diametrically opposed to Thomas Massie's policies for the most part, I would still much rather have him in his seat than Ed Gallerin, who is just a Trump taint licker. So let's make sure if you're in Kentucky, if that is your representative, that you are voting in your primaries, any primary, just pay attention to what you're doing. You voted in Georgia, trademark, yay! I'm so proud of you. So, voting today. Make sure you're paying attention to that. We appreciate it. Okay, we're gonna, I guess I did all of my spiel. I've been forgetting my goal spiel now. So I did the rest of my spiel, but I have my 100 goal that I have every single day. Guys, this is my job. This is what I do for a living. This is how I pay my bills. If you would like to contribute to that, you can add $1, $2. You can knock out the entire goal if you want to be super generous, whatever you can, or would like to donate to me, to pay me, tip your content creators. I would appreciate it. I have the link tree in my bio. I have Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal. So you can absolutely do that. Sean, you are unwell. My guy, are you okay? You're not okay. It's not even how you spell that slur, so I don't know. And you can see the color of my skin, so you can't use that slur for me. If anybody wants to guess, we know which one it was. Okay, so we're going to start the day here. That's a clip. We're going to watch the entire, which means I will have to clip it out of Twitch and YouTube, which sucks, but oh well. We're going to watch the entire 60 Minutes segment about oil trading. Last week, I showed you guys that the DOJ themselves are actually investigating quite a few trades that happened in conjunction with the Iran war on oil. So they would trade on it like 15 minutes to an hour before either Donald Trump would truth something or we would strike, and the prices would go up or down for the stock, right? So we're going to watch that entire interview about how people are now tracking the increase in growth of the insider trading that is going on in the country right now, because it's really, really, really bad. Not that. Now, if you guys want to bring up the person you want to bring up, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for the name. You guys absolutely can. She didn't do it as well as they're doing it, apparently, which I think is something we should fucking talk about. But go get her. Again, I don't know how many times I have to say this. Or maybe actually pass the Honest Act, which would keep Congress people from being able to trade stocks at all. Can we get on the same page about that? And then I will show you later Mike Johnson saying, hey, we should be able to trade stocks. Hi, Ryan. How are you doing? I got to turn the volume back up. Sorry. Let me make sure I changed it back for YouTube. Okay, they can hear again.
The war with Iran and the U.S. military operation to capture Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro have carried the usual hallmarks of conflict: soldiers, strategy, casualties, cost. But they've also been accompanied by a new feature: betting on war. This year alone, more than $1 billion has been staked online on military decisions and outcomes. As if they were wagering on football games or Oscar winners, bettors all over the globe have taken positions, some suspiciously timed and with information seemingly too specific for a civilian outsider, on when and how an attack might happen, even the fate of world leaders. It's created a whole new category of insider trading. As long as there have been wars, there have been war profiteers, but never quite like this. Cloaked in night, shrouded in secrecy, U.S. Special Operations Forces captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro on January 3rd. He was taken to the U.S. to face drug trafficking and narco-terrorism charges.
You need to bring him to the other courthouse. Do not block his way, please.
As it turned out, the president of Venezuela wasn't the only figure in the operation who would find himself confronting federal charges. U.S. Army soldier Gannon Ken Van Dyke, who was involved in the planning and execution of the Venezuela mission, was charged last month with using classified intelligence to place bets based on when the surprise raid would unfold.
So this was the story we went over last week, when somebody specifically said, "What are you talking about?" in way of that kind of insider trading. And so I brought up the article about this man in particular who was part of the planning and execution of the raid to capture Maduro. And he made trades to make money knowing it was going to happen. That's insider trading, folks.
If the allegations are true, this is one of the worst betrayals of trust in this area that I can remember and possibly ever. Americans should feel confident the most important little agency they've probably never heard of is on the job.
Now a private lawyer in Washington, Rob Schwartz, until last year, worked for the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, a federal agency policing fraud and insider trading.
A soldier using classified intelligence to trade. Unprecedented.
Classified intelligence that he knew about because he helped plan and to execute.
There it is. Congratulations, Logical Assessment. You are the first MAGA to bring up Nancy Pelosi's name, which apparently means you weren't listening to when I started before this segment. What did I say? I said you guys are going to bring her up. She didn't make nearly as much as what we're going to talk about specifically in this case. And, just wait till we get to Donald Trump's disclosure forms for stocks and bonds. We're going to get to that too, Logical. So hold on to your pants. But I also said go get her, didn't I? I did. I've always said go get her. I said if there is evidence or an investigation needs to be done on the fact that she might have been insider trading or just the sheer fact that she could trade stocks as a congressperson on policies that she can effectuate that affect the stock that she trades in, I think that's a problem. And so I said, take Josh Hawley, a Republican from Missouri, he purported a bill. It was called the Pelosi Act, Logical, and it would keep Congress people from being able to trade stocks. It would ban them from being able to trade stocks. And Pelosi called him and said, hey, I love this. I would love to support and get on board and put this out here. And so he proposed it again. He renamed it from the Pelosi Act to the Honest Act. And what the Honest Act would do is ensure that all of Congress could no longer trade stocks. They would have to sell off any stocks they had. They could no longer trade stocks, including the President of the United States, from 90 days from that bill being signed if it passed. Donald Trump called Josh Hawley and said, hey, you can do this bill. I don't really care. But can you make sure that it is from every president after me? And so they changed it so that it would be after Donald Trump. And yet still, it's not making its way onto the floor in a Republican-held Congress. And Mike Johnson specifically has come out and said we should be able to trade stocks because we can't afford to live off of $174,000. So again, I'm with you, Logical. I'm with you. Investigate Nancy Pelosi. Your duly elected president doesn't trade stocks. Oh, Logical. We're going to get into that, sweetie. Just hold on to your panties, okay? Go get Nancy Pelosi. I have no problem with that. Totally fine. I could give a fuck. Go get the old bitch. She can spend time at Camp Cupcake or whatever the fuck too for that shit. Don't give a shit.
The mission. There is nothing to compare that to.
The Justice Department alleges Van Dyke made a series of wagers totaling roughly $34,000, including a half dozen the day before the raid. He ended up netting more than $400,000. According to the indictment, Van Dyke immediately withdrew his profit, then tried to delete his betting account on Polymarket, the world's biggest online prediction market. The 38-year-old Army Master Sergeant has pleaded not guilty. Polymarket says it cooperated with law enforcement.
If you are a corporate executive and you're privy to non-public business information, you go trade on that, that's insider trading. Everybody knows that. But the same thing exists in prediction markets where this soldier is alleged to have traded.
You're saying different context from what we usually think. Two guys at the golf course are winking and whispering and tipping each other off. But this is still meeting the definition of insider trading?
Exactly right. This is a new kind of insider trading.
which we've talked about before. I'm not a huge fan of betting markets. We talk about them in essence of polling, right? Because unfortunately they do kind of show a possible representation of what's going to happen in certain instances. However, I'm not a fan of betting markets, at least in the sense of not regulating them. We need to regulate them because of the fact that you can have people within any administration in a government capacity privately bet on things that they can then effectuate. That's where I have a problem. They can change. They can determine the outcome of these bets that they've made. That's wild. Or sport. Like, it needs to be regulated. They should not be allowed to bet on these things. They shouldn't be allowed to. Greg, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Did you vote for Trump?
Yes, I did.
Okay, can I get your age and state, please?
33, California.
Are you the same guy from yesterday on a different account?
Yeah.
Was I on? Yeah, I was on here yesterday.
Yeah, and you tried to come up on 3 different accounts, right?
I came up on, I think it was 2. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Why are you still supporting Trump?
Just because he's reversing all the damage that Biden did, all the damage
Like
that
what?
the World Economic Forum's done.
How's he reversing that? What damage did Biden do that he's reversing?
Well, the goal of the World Economic Forum. And the
Nope,
goal
I'm not
of the
talking
global-
about the World Economic Forum. I'm talking about what damage is he reversing that Biden did?
So Biden being a puppet for the global cabal and the.
Do you know who the
World
Bilderberg
Economic Forum.
Do you know who the Bilderberg
Bilderberg
group is?
Group is? Yes, I
Yeah,
do.
of course you do, you fucking Nazi. Anyway, back to what we were talking about, betting markets and regulation.
Spiking in popularity, prediction markets, including Polymarket, offer wagers on the likelihood of future events. Will the Dodgers win the World Series? Will Jesus return in 2026? For that matter, in a 60 Minutes interview, would President Trump say the word trillion more than
Thank you so much, Scott, for the $5 super chat. I appreciate you. Said, if I bet on Trump being impeached and wants his ass kicked, would that be insider trading? No. So insider trading would be, Scott, if you bet that Trump would be impeached and you were a member of Congress. That would be insider trading. Because you would have knowledge about that.
10 times? Turned out that one didn't pay off. But lately, another kind of wager has found popularity. What will happen in military conflicts? Dates of attack? Will an airspace close?
Real quick, logical. Again, sweetie, you're going to have to hold on to your pants when I tell you this. Donald Trump was impeached twice. That happened. Impeachment happens in the House. And conviction or acquittal happens in the Senate. So the Senate just didn't choose to remove him. But he was impeached twice. By the way, in case you didn't know, Donald Trump Jr. is also on the advisory board of both Polymarket and Kalshi.
Will enriched uranium change hands? You can bet on it. You can also bet on this. Insiders, people holding non-public information, will be laying down their money too.
In the U.S., it's prohibited to make military bets on platforms like Polymarket, though it's easy to find digital workarounds, as Gannon Ken Van Dyke allegedly did. Here's what's more astounding than the existence of military bets: how often they pay off.
It's alarming to see a culture around betting on war.
Michelle Kendler-Kretsch and her team at the Anti-Corruption Data Collective examined Polymarket bets on military outcomes. She looked specifically at long-shot wagers, bets with less than 35% odds. Despite being underdogs, they won more than they lost, a telltale sign, she says, of, quote, systemic insider trading.
Give me the apples-to-apples comparison. This military bets versus, say, sports wagering.
So military bets are 52% success rate. Sports, 7%.
Wildly disproportionate to what conventional probability should be telling us.
Absolutely.
In
52% success rate on bets you make on the military. Only 7% on sports that people literally do rackets on that are fantasy. 7% success rate for sport. But 52% for military. Okay.
Away, another team of digital detectives say they too have identified crooked bettors wagering on war.
This might be the most insane pattern we have found on Polymarket so far.
Based in Paris, Nicholas Weiman's small data analytics firm Bubble Maps creates visualizations of bets on Polymarket to spot bubbles or clusters of suspect traders. One paradox of Polymarket, everything about the trades is totally transparent and public, except the traders themselves remain anonymous.
This big cluster in the middle, no one talked about it.
The firm's head of investigations goes by his online handle, Deebs. He asked us,
Do you understand the word consent or no?
Yeah, why wouldn't I?
Then why do you keep coming up on different profiles?
Respecting consent, dude.
It's the first time I've come up here. What are you talking about?
Don't act stupid.
You just happen to also be in a car like the other guy was in a car. What state are you in?
I'm in Florida. I'm in Cape Coral.
Okay. And what's your age and who'd you vote for?
I'm 30 and I voted for Trump. He's a bad bitch.
Okay. Why are you still supporting him?
Well, because he's not like a typical politician. He just does what he wants to do and says what needs to be said.
That's
he doesn't let the
bad. That's a
bureaucracy hold him
dictator.
back.
That's bad. That's a dictator.
That's not a dictator. Someone who doesn't let bureaucracy get in the way of what needs to get done.
Somebody who doesn't let the Constitution get in the way of what needs to be done is a dictator.
I didn't say the Constitution. I said bureaucracy.
The bureaucracy would be the
You guys
Constitution
are
that
trying to
gives
slow
him
him
checks.
down and slow ICE down everywhere they go.
The
but it's not gonna work.
bureaucracy would be the laws of the Constitution that he has to follow.
Okay, and he is following the Constitution.
Oh, is he? Then how come the courts are saying he's not?
In what way?
He is violating the rights of immigrants for their due process in this country.
No, he's not. We're doing expedited removal. Same
No,
thing Clinton
actually,
did
no, they're
in
not. It's not
1996.
under expedited removal because expedited removal specifically is within 200 miles of the border. The people that they are detaining and not giving bond hearings that these judges have talked about ad nauseum in multiple cases is violating the Constitution. So no, he's not following the Constitution.
Well, it's kind of pathetic they want to go through due process
Oh,
when
so
they
you
go
don't
through due
care about the
process to come into their
Constitution.
country in the
So you
first
don't
place.
care about the Constitution. Cool. Glad
No,
we
I
could
do,
agree.
but I do, but when the Constitution's being used to exploit it, like the 14th Amendment, for
you can't
example, for
exploit the 14th
naturalization.
That's
Yeah, it
the
does,
law.
because it was meant for,
If
it
you
was
don't
meant for
like it,
slavery.
change
It wasn't meant
If you
for
don't
those
like,
that are trying to break
well,
in
SCOTUS
and
is
then
gonna
have a
rule on
kid
that.
and then they
Well,
get to stay in the
SCOTUS
country.
SCOTUS is
It
going to
doesn't
rule
work
on
like that,
that.
honey.
SCOTUS is going to make that decision, aren't they? Because that's what they do. And they've already ruled on the 14th Amendment multiple times, and they've said you're wrong.
Honey, it doesn't work like that. It was
It
meant for
does.
slaves, okay?
I don't
It
care. Are
wasn't
you a
meant for
Supreme
people
Court
to-
justice?
It wasn't
Are
meant
you
for
a Supreme
foreign
Court
invaders
justice?
to break into
Are
the country.
you a Supreme Court
And then for
justice?
you to defend.
Are you a Supreme Court justice?
Wasn't for you to defend illegal invaders that are breaking into our country and then having kids to stay here. That doesn't work like
Are
that.
you a Supreme Court justice?
No, I'm not.
Okay. How many times have the Supreme Court ruled on the 14th Amendment?
Well, we have some rhinos in the Supreme Court right now that need to get changed out.
Oh
so.
my god. You have every single talking point under wraps. What was the United States?
Just like we still have some rhinos that were paid off by
Who,
Maduro.
which ones? No, wait.
So
Which
we need
the
to get
paid
rid of them
by
too.
Maduro? Wait, you just said paid off by
Yeah,
Maduro?
did you not see the Democrat
Who?
list and the Republican
Who?
list of it?
Who?
Well, Jeffrey Hakeem's was getting paid by Maduro.
Jeffrey Hakeem's. You want to try that again?
Hakeem Jeffries.
Okay. We were talking about Supreme Court justices. So which rhino in the Supreme Court justice was paid by Maduro?
I would have to go relook at the list.
You go do
There's-
that. I'm going to play my video because that's what I want to do instead of
Rhinos being
Jeffrey's Hakeem.
Jeffrey's Hakeem.
And also, if you're Canadian, just come get him. Like, come get him. I'll pack his bags for you. I think all he needs is like a Diet Coke and a Big Mac. Or no, fish fillet. I'm sorry. He eats fish fillet.
And a diaper.
Yeah. I will get a pack of diapers for you to take with you too, if you would like. Just come get him. Come pick him up.
to obscure his identity over fears of retaliation for his detective work. They shared for the first time what they believe is a more egregious insider trading case than Gannon Ken Van Dyke's.
We spotted 9 Polymarket accounts, all connected, who made collectively $2.4 million, betting almost exclusively on US military operations. Van Dyke made $400,000, here $2.4 million. And now here's the crazy part. 98% win rate.
Wait. 98.
98. This is like winning the lottery multiple times, you know?
How do you have a 98% win rate without having insider information? Are you guys concerned about this? Like, that's my thing. Like, there are people who are trading information on the inside to make money. You know who it is? Donald Trump, his entire cabinet, and all of his fucking rich buddies. For some reason, you don't care.
The linked accounts made dozens of winning bets on the specific dates of pivotal moments in the war with Iran, even when the odds were low. The first U.S. strikes, the removal of Iran's supreme leader, the announcement of a ceasefire.
How do we know this isn't just someone who has really good instincts?
Luck alone cannot explain those numbers.
If you know this, what?
Brian, I don't know how many times I have to say this with you guys. Go get her. Go arrest Nancy Pelosi. She actually did not make as much as the money we are seeing now. But go get her. I don't care. I agree. She probably had information on insider trading that she did to make money. Get the evidence. Go get her. We don't care because there's no evidence of your nonsense. Hold on, Logical. We'll get there. You got to get through this video first.
With your interview, they're going to know this.
We talked to one source in the Defense Department with relation to Sergeant Van Dyke, and he said, listen, there are dozens more of these. Van Dyke was just a small fish.
For sure.
There's so many people involved in the planning and the execution of a military operation.
A former U.S. military officer, Deeb, speaks from firsthand experience when he says military bets are ripe for corruption.
You have, obviously, the government officials, but you also have the military planners, right? You have the military intelligence analysts, and even spouses. They hear things, and that means that there consequently are a lot of potential insiders.
And it's not just the voguish, high-tech online prediction markets where trades based on war have raised intense suspicions. It's happening on the old school and heavily regulated commodities markets, too.
I'm highly suspicious at this point. And I'm not the only one. Any trader right now is highly suspicious.
A former commodities trader, David Covell, is now a New York lawyer representing victims of fraud on the same markets he once traded. In 2021, he secured the largest whistleblower award for commodities market manipulation in U.S. history.
Well, this is a classic graph that any commodities trader will understand.
Covell walked us through the morning of March 23rd.
Whoa. What's that?
I'm glad he's going to walk us through it because I'm not a commodities trader, so I don't know what that looks like, right?
Fighting had been...
I have a silly question. Maybe it's not so. How can Polymarket and other trading markets like that not have military actions as something to put a bet on? Can that be a thing?
You'd have to regulate it. It would have to be law that they can't bet on military action. The problem with that is going to be First Amendment speech, right? Being able to bet on those things and talk about those things. There's not really a way to be able to regulate that. That's why we have to regulate who can bet.
Okay, I wasn't, because I was just like, I just feel like it's so weird to bet on something like this. You know what I mean? But I don't.
People bet on the weirdest fucking shit. Like they bet on whether Elvis is still alive or not. Like people bet on anything. So.
Anywho, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Raging for 3+ weeks, and it was a slow trading day in oil futures.
If you see the chart, you'll see that no one is trading during that time period. Why would you trade at that time? It doesn't make a lot of sense unless you have a real reason.
Then, according to data, the financial firm LSE...
That would be a content-based restriction? Yeah, and I mean, I'm fine with that. Whatever way is easier to start putting restrictions, I'm with.
EG provided us. Suddenly, at 6:50 a.m., more than $800 million was staked on the chance of oil prices dropping. 15 minutes later, President Trump posted on Truth Social that the White House and Iran had, quote, very good and productive conversations about ending hostilities. The news sent the price of oil plummeting more than 10%.
What kind of profit is that resulting in?
We're talking tens of millions, could be $80 million.
You see this graph and you think insider trading.
That's a natural conclusion to draw. I can't know it without knowing what happened, but it's a natural conclusion to draw.
Covell is not alone in finding this highly dubious. 60 Minutes has learned federal investigators are probing these oil market trades as well.
What are the odds the government knows the identity of whoever executed that?
If they go to the exchanges, they can know them.
This could have been someone inside the U.S. This could have been...
So, since the DOJ has said that they are investigating it, right? I showed you the article, not just about the guy with Maduro, but specifically with the oil market trades that we are seeing, that they are supposedly investigating it. Like he said, if you get whatever kind of fucking warrant you need and information that you need from the exchanges, which you should be able to access, you would know. You'll know who's making these trades. So I just want us to be aware, all of us, people on the left, people on the right, if you're actually concerned, is to watch for the outcome. Make sure this doesn't fade into the background. I want to make sure that the DOJ doesn't find that it's somebody in Trump's orbit or Trump himself or any kind of politician at all, whether left or right, and decides to let the investigation die. I don't want to see that happen. I hope you don't want to see that happen. So we just have to make sure that we are the ones constantly talking about it to ensure that the DOJ is doing their job and getting those names because they can find them.
Someone from a foreign country, this could have been an enemy.
Identifying who it was would be the secret to figuring out whether it was insider trading or not.
It's not just markets that risk manipulation by war bets. It's truth as well. Emmanuel Fabian, a military correspondent for the Times of Israel, thought little of a piece he wrote in March about an Iranian missile strike in an empty forest near Jerusalem. But soon after he published the account, Fabian received a barrage of messages asking him to change his story. He ignored most, but they turned darker.
One of them was, you're going to make us lose $900,000, and we'll invest even more than that to finish you, is what he wrote. He also wrote details about my siblings as well. He said, I know how often you visit your...
12, you said Trump wouldn't be that greedy or stupid. Just hold on. Have you seen the financial disclosures yet?
family.
What's your fear factor at this point?
I was quite worried.
He investigated and found war bets on Polymarket hinging on whether an Iranian missile would enter Israel, specifically on March 10th. And Fabian's small news story voided the...
Logical. I don't know what you don't understand about me. It's cute that you just put all of that together. You said, did Omar bet $30 million on the success of the Leering Center? No. But what happened was the $30 million that you're talking about was a number that came from James Comer, and actually you're misquoting him. James Comer said that her net worth was anywhere from $6 million to $30 million because he wasn't sure because he has not seen her financial disclosure. She then recently, I actually talked about this, God, it's been, a couple weeks now. She recently came out and said that the person who was in charge of looking at her net worth and assessing her assets did it wrong, and that it was not anywhere in the millions. It was like tens of thousands. Now, that sounds fishy to me. I said that at the time when we read the article. That sounds fucking fishy to me. So what I said is investigate her. I don't have any problem with that. Why do you keep having to bring up Democratic politicians for me to tell you the same thing I keep telling you, which is to investigate them thoroughly, but you can't hold that same standard to the people on the right? By the way, we haven't even gotten into this. This is going to take up the entire day probably. Haven't even gotten into the pardons for fraud that Donald Trump has issued, which I've shown several times on this platform. Fraud, waste, and abuse, right?
Side of the bets predicting no missile, angering the losers.
There was at $14 million that were being wagered there.
$14 million?
Yeah, but by the time it closed, it actually went up to $22 million, if I'm not mistaken. Also, the person who wrote them, they wrote that, if you, abide by my instructions and change it, then, you can end with money in your pocket and this will all be over.
Despite this pressure campaign against you that escalated to death threats, you did not go in and change your copy. Do you worry that other people might not have your principled stance?
I do worry. We know when there's a lot of money involved, in this case $22 million, I think that can cause people to,
Stop
What he's saying is that can manipulate our news. That can manipulate the truth in our reporting.
Fabian reported the threats to the police and to Polymarket, which said that threatening a journalist was unacceptable and banned the accounts involved. Polymarket has said they work proactively on any suspicious activity, constantly behind the scenes. Overseeing all this, playing sheriff in this new Wild West? In the U.S., it's that niche government agency, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, the CFTC, set up in the 70s to regulate food prices. Historically led by a commission of 5, today it's run by one person, Michael Selig, a 36-year-old whom President Trump nominated chairman last fall.
We will hold whoever's engaging in fraudulent, manipulative, or insider trading activity accountable to the American people.
Good.
But enforcement actions have dropped by more than 2/3 since 2024.
Oh, why aren't Trump's people going after Pelosi? Why aren't they doing that? Why have enforcement actions gone down?
Staffing has dropped sharply too. Selig declined our interview request, though the CFTC told us it is hiring more.
12. No. No. I appreciate you being here. I hope you stick around. Ilhan Omar did not marry her brother. You have no proof of that. The only thing you have is Donald Trump saying that. There is literally no proof of that because it didn't happen.
Staff and using AI to go after bad actors. And government officials are aware of the new potential for corruption. In March, the White House issued a memo to staffers noting it is a criminal offense for anyone to use non-public information on prediction markets.
Where do you draw the line? I guess reasonable people can debate where the line is.
Source after source told us they fear today's insider trading scandal is tomorrow's national security scandal. If market watchers can spot irregular trades, surely enemies can too, and they'll make their war plans accordingly.
Just to put it plainly, this could be putting people's lives at risk.
Logical, can you source me? I would love to see that. Maybe I'm missing it. Again, I always come from a place of saying that if you have information I don't have that's actually factual that you can source, I would love to see it. So Logical, put in the chat where we have proof that she married her brother.
Their adversaries may be using this information in order to plan their own strategy.
If you're taking a futures position, a year from now, Sergeant Van Dyke is the only person charged with insider trading?
No, I think it's just going to multiply from here.
And I hope so, because it needs to, because that is running away with money. Okay, so let's get to, it's the video, Mia, that you sent me because I liked it. We're going to get to that. I have a news article on it. I have, which I love the news article on it because it actually sources the documents that she talks about. But we are going to play this. This is about what I talked about, Logical, if you're paying attention, the disclosure forms of Trump's stocks and bonds. Now, remember, most presidents, put their assets and their portfolio, they put it in a blind trust. Supposedly, Donald Trump's is also in a blind trust. The issue with that is the blind trust is being run by his children. So it's not really blind. They disclosed their buying and selling of stocks and bonds over this, his first, year and a half now that he's been in, almost year and a half. The information that we're getting,
If there's anyone in your life who still needs proof that Donald Trump is looting our government, there's something I'd like you to show them. This is called Form 278T, also known as a periodic transaction report. Government officials, including the president...
Pierre, I don't use Wikipedia. If you have a source from what Wikipedia uses that has proof of this, that would be great. You have a marriage license by chance? Immigrant application where she listed herself as married to him to bring him here. Any of that? No?
And are legally required...
Wheel Free. I literally talked about both Minnesota and LA. We watched the entire video of Nick Shirley in Cuba. We watched the entire video of Nick Shirley in California. I talked about that. And we also talked about the fact that CBS News had done the article like a week and a half before Nick Shirley did. And also that California stopped giving out hospice licenses in 2022. You're late. You're behind. Welcome. Welcome. Let's get on it, right? Donald Trump stocks and bonds.
To complete this form, every time they buy or sell a stock or bond worth more than $1,000. The goal is to prevent conflicts of interest between their official duties and their personal financial interests. In May, Trump filed a Form 278T for the
Oh, whose signature is that?
first quarter of 2026. It is 113 pages long, and it lists more than 3,600 stock trades between January and March. Trump bought and sold hundreds of millions of dollars in stocks, including big tech, defense contractors, media companies, crypto, and more. What's notable about this is not just that Trump is really rich, it's that he is heavily invested in companies whose businesses are directly affected by policies he is making. He is actively trading in their stocks at the same time he is making decisions that influence the value of those stocks. For example, Trump invested in both Paramount and Warner Brothers while his Justice Department is reviewing their proposed merger. He invested in Oracle at the same time he brokered their deal to buy TikTok.
Oh, that doesn't concern you? He buys into companies that he then glazes. He writes about them on Truth Social, or he says it in a speech that had nothing to do with that, and their stocks jump.
He invested in Palantir as they were awarded major government contracts worth over $1 billion. Trump is
Palantir specifically, we know because we talked about it. He posted a Truth Social praising Palantir and even posted their stock ticker on his Truth Social. It's obvious. It has been obvious. It is in your face obvious. I don't know why you guys refuse to see it. If you want to hold Nancy Pelosi allegedly accountable, allegedly Ilhan Omar, if you want to hold all of them accountable, I am with you. I will stand with you at the council meetings to ensure that an investigation is being done with them. I will do that. Will you stand with me to start investigating Trump's trading of stocks and bonds?
He's also buying crypto stocks while he is pushing a bill called the Clarity Act, which would help crypto companies. One of Trump's biggest buys was millions of dollars in NVIDIA stock. NVIDIA makes advanced AI chips, which they have been trying to sell to China for years. The U.S. government has restricted the sale to protect our national security, but NVIDIA's CEO lobbied Trump for months to change that policy. And in December, Trump...
I literally talked about Nancy Pelosi today 3 or 4 times, Stacey, and actually every time that we talk about trading of stocks, I talk about Nancy Pelosi. Stacey, you must be new. Hi, my name is Monica. I go by just Monida. I come on here and I critique to make sure that our Congress officials and our people in the office, president, in the cabinet, are doing their fucking job. So I'm with you. Take his power that he now has. Donald Trump has his people, okay, in the CFTC. That's what we just talked about. The Federal Trade Commission. Go get her. Go get her. Where is she? She retired, dumb fuck. She's in California. But go get her. It's not like she's going anywhere. She's old. She can't really move. So, go get her. Literally, I just want you guys to also get everybody else. I would actually prefer, somebody put it in the chat. I would prefer they go get her to set the precedent. So then maybe you guys would be okay with going to get everybody else. Okay? It's not okay for Nancy Pelosi to do insider trading. Did you know that Nancy Pelosi was on the side of Josh Hawley for an act that would make it so Congress can't trade? Did you know that?
Trump agreed. Then
Stacey,
Trump
now you're
went a
going to
step
crash
further.
out because you found out that I don't agree with Nancy Pelosi, so now you're going to crash out on me because I don't like that bitch. Go get her.
This week, he took NVIDIA's CEO to China with him on Air Force One to sell their AI chips to the Chinese government.
By the way, guys, as we're sitting here, it is almost 10:45, so we're almost hitting an hour. You guys are doing awesome on the likes. We hit 52,000 likes already. Let's make sure we are still doing that and doing the good things. Let's complete the little, what are they called? A shard of hope gift that I have. If we could complete that, that would be great. And I have 100 left of my goal. I've almost been on for an entire hour and we have not touched that. Guys, this is what I do for a living. This is my job. I know you guys can do it. I've seen you guys do it. Let's at least try to get it down to halfway. $1 train, $2 train, send a message that I can do. Sharded is crazy, Delco. And I would appreciate it so that we can, I can keep doing this. Okay?
NVIDIA's stock price has now gone up
Thank you, guys.
26% since January. Trump also took the CEO of Boeing to China with him after buying millions of dollars of Boeing stock. On the trip, they sold 200 Boeing airplanes to the Chinese government. It is impossible.
Which again is actually funny because that's one of the only ones that backfired on him because their stock went down. But he keeps buying stock in companies of CEOs that he's buddy-buddy with, that he takes with him on foreign trips to do private deals. We talked about that yesterday. But he is buying stock. Also, Stacey, I'm not a Democrat, so you're yelling into the ether, babe. I'm a registered independent.
Possible to look at this and not ask, is Trump actually acting in the interests of the American people, or is he placing his own financial interests first? Other presidents have chosen to sell off their stocks or place them in a blind trust to avoid conflicts of interest, but Trump has refused to do that. The definition of corruption is using official power for private gain. By that measure, Trump is hands down the most corrupt president in history. The Form 278T is a roadmap to the ways he is personally profiting from the powers of the presidency. Please spread the word. Thank you.
Chris, Stacey's not going to call in. She's now yelling about the fact that we defend rapists when she voted for one. So I don't think that Stacey's going to call and give us any kind of good content here. I think Stacey's, poor thing, Stacey's lost. Sweetheart, Zinfandel, it's too early for Zinfandel, babe. It's too early. Okay. So Trump bought stock in drug maker as his government boosted its obesity drugs. Ooh. President Donald Trump earlier this year bought as much as $680,000 in stock of Eli Lilly, the maker of blockbuster obesity drugs, as the agencies he oversees undertook an agenda that largely benefited the company. On May 14th, the federal government released ethics disclosures revealing a list of stock. This is why I have this article specifically. Look. Primary sources. My favorite fuck thing. Remember this? We just saw this because Liz Oyer showed it, right? Okay. So these are going to be all... Right, here's Oracle Corporation. $1,000 to $5,000. On March 17th, right? Got all that information. Apple, Uber, Boeing, Dell. Has he talked about any of these companies by chance and helped them boost their stock? No? Schwab, NVIDIA. DoorDash. Oh, he helped do an entire ad for DoorDash, didn't he? Oh, okay. A list of stock and bond trades made on Trump's behalf from January to March of this year. They included extensive trades across the economy, including investments in tech giants such as Microsoft and NVIDIA, aerospace firms such as Boeing, and household name companies such as Target and Chipotle. In healthcare, however, the trades of Lilly, a company valued by the stock market at just under $1 trillion, stands out. That's because the timing of Trump's purchases coincides with several favorable government decisions benefiting the drug maker's GLP-1 business, including progress toward a long-held goal, qualifying the drugs for reimbursement from Medicare, the government health insurance program primarily serving seniors when they are prescribed for weight loss. So, again, that's a great thing. Making sure that Medicare covers the GLP-1s for people who desperately need them, I have no problem with. What I have a problem with is a president who, I don't know why he would trade on Tesla. That's a bad idea. Tesla is bleeding. But he also has stock in his own Truth Social company, and that's also bleeding money. But World Liberty Financial is making all sorts of crypto deals, which is also his company, in case you guys didn't know. But what I have an issue with is the president of the United States buying stock in companies that he then can boost by coming out, because their stock is going to boost if you make it available for Medicare coverage. And he bought that before he made the announcement. That is insider trading. That is corrupt. If you want Nancy Pelosi investigated and put in jail, I am standing here with you. Can you stand with me with Trump? He should not be allowed to do that, which is why we need things like the Honest Act passed. It's not about crying about Trump doing it. It's about making sure that he, any future president, and the entirety of Congress can never do it again. That's what it's about. Proposing legislation, which Josh Hawley already did, getting it on the floor, voting it through, having it signed by the President of the United States to ensure that Congress, the administration, and the cabinet cannot vote or cannot trade stocks. That's what I want you guys to pay attention to, okay? The disclosure forms, which bear Trump's distinct signature, give ranges rather than exact dollar amounts for the trades. They show 7 purchases of Lilly stock made on the president's behalf through the end of March, the first of which occurred on January 6th. During that period, and just afterward, several Trump administration initiatives ultimately benefited Lilly. Perhaps the biggest was an initiative from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, that would be Dr. Oz, which was proposing a pilot program, a temporary bridge, potentially followed by permanent reimbursement through Medicare. Patients would pay $50 a month for drugs. You guys with me? The deadline for drug manufacturers to submit applications indicating their interest in participating was January 8th. Lilly has since been named as a participating manufacturer in the program, calling it a significant milestone. Another purchase on February 10th of West Pharmaceutical Services stock valued between $250,000 and $500,000 was similarly a bet on the GLP-1 market. The company, which manufactures injectable devices for drugs, credited growth in its GLP-1 business, driving increased revenue in its most recent quarter. Lilly declined to comment. West Pharmaceutical Services did not immediately respond to a request for comment. A spokesperson at the Department of Health and Human Services declined to comment, referring KFF Health News to the White House. A White House spokesperson referred questions to the Trump Organization, the holding company for most of President Trump's businesses. Again, his children. That's who's in charge of it. But even his stocks and bonds has his signature, which did not immediately respond to a request for comment. In response to other outlets' questions about Trump's stock trades, the Trump Organization has said the investments are controlled by independent brokers. His children? It is unclear from the disclosures whether Trump directed any of the trades himself. 4 of the Lilly stock purchases are marked unsolicited, though the Office for Government Ethics did not immediately respond to a request for clarification on the use of that term. Trump's assets are in a trust held by his children, and Trump Organization spokespeople have said in the past that neither the president nor his children play a role in selecting, directing, or approving specific investments. I call it bullshit. Eric Trump, the president's son and Trump Organization executive, said May 15th on X, to suggest that individual stocks are being bought or sold at the discretion of any member of the Trump family would be a lie and blatantly false. Then why was Eric Trump on the plane? Can anybody answer that? Did you guys know that? We talked about it, right? Donald Trump went to China and he took his son, a private citizen. He doesn't work in the government. Why? Why'd he take his son? No? You guys gonna yell Nancy Pelosi and Ilhan Omar some more? Like I said, go get him. But also go get them, right? He claimed the purchases of index funds account for the investments, the disclosures record purchases of funds and individual stocks. Lilly had a strong 2025, finishing with $65 billion in revenue, up $20 billion from the year before. GLP-1 drugs accounted for a substantial portion of that total. As we have seen, Donald Trump has touted and given a claim to GLP-1 drugs this entire time he has been in his office in his second term. At the beginning of 2026, the drug maker said it expected another surge in revenue this year above $80 billion. It was a stunning projection, analysts at the Bank City said. So, what is this? A ban on stock trading by the president would require an act of Congress, though some lawmakers have resisted such legislation. Members of Congress are also permitted to buy and sell stocks. That's the part. That's it, right there. It's about that. Make sure that they don't. I agree, Angel. Hunter Biden should not have been on Air Force One with his dad. I agree. I don't think I've ever said a kind word about Hunter Biden being involved with his father as the president. The only thing I have said is you guys don't have proof of corruption with that. But if you want to investigate it, keep going. You guys did it for 4 years. You can keep going. Nobody here is defending it. All you guys have is, but that guy, but them, but look at them. I know I voted for this guy who's literally stealing money in front of my fucking face. I know I did it. I did it. But look at that guy. Get all of them. Fuck that. Are you kidding? Okay. but it's okay. Again, love that article. It will be posted in the live outline section of my Discord because it has the actual primary source of the disclosures hyperlinked in there, and we love that. So Jim Cramer, right? If you don't know Jim Cramer, I guess you weren't a child of the 90s, but Jim Cramer has always been involved in trading. He's always been involved in reporting trading. He's the crazy guy with the bat who be hitting shit off his desk. He's insane. He glitches the fuck out when they talk about these disclosure forms. So they were talking about the fact that Donald Trump's company, Donald Trump, is making this much money. And he glitches the fuck out, which I'll play in just a minute. Let me check some messages real quick. W to Justin for the $3 who said, touch it, damn it, which meant touch my goal because it had not been touched. So thank you, Justin. I appreciate that. Thank you, DNC Warrior, for the $2 for let's get that train started. Love your show. Toot train. Toot. Thank you so much. And also, thank you to Aaron for the $25 for get Gabe Evans out of 8. That bum isn't fit to make decisions on his own life. Never mind Colorado. On that note, let's advocate and fund mental health care. Keep up the good work. W, we are going to do not forget, if you are in Colorado, our primaries are in June. June 30th is coming up. We are going to make sure that we get Gabe Evans the fuck out of Colorado District 8. The man has not held a town hall the entire time he's been serving in this office. He held one teletown hall that I participated in where he had pre-picked questions and then they ended after about 3 callers that they had pre-picked and pre-chosen. So we are going to get him the fuck out. Please vote for Manny Rutnell in your primary election if you are in Colorado District 8. I appreciate you. Thank you guys.
Hey.
W so much for the support.
Hey.
Yes.
People need to touch your goal, damn it.
That's what they just did a little bit.
They touch it harder with consent.
Nope, that's not how that works. Okay, there we go. Got it. We're down to 70. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
You guys have the opportunity to make me mad with the number that pops up.
She will do it. So let's watch Jim Cramer crash out, though, because it's probably one of my favorite things.
But the president, the U.S. government got in. They could sell it and give that
and
the
according
number.
to the filings, the president's been trading some intel in the quarter. Yeah.
Trade.
Got nothing to say about
Yeah.
Is this the one? No, that's the Tennessee Holler one. I don't know why it's got that music in the background, but.
Yes, and according to the filings, the president's been trading some intel in the quarter. Yeah.
Trade.
Got nothing to say about
Yeah.
All right, don't worry. We're not having technical difficulties here, everybody, but we got to go.
Jim, we'll see you tonight. Mad Money, 6 p.m. Eastern.
Jim Cramer, quiet. I don't think I've ever seen it. He doesn't know what to do with this information because it's so fucking unprecedented to have such a corrupt fucking president. It's really that bad. And I don't know why you guys can't be on the same side to say, don't fucking do this. We don't agree with this. You might not like me ideologically. That's fine. We can talk about those disagreements. But we can't agree on the lack of corruption? Really? Yeah, he glitched in real fucking time. W's to Chicky for the $3 with the little frog emoji that do it. So, thank you, Chicky. 6, 7. Chicky likes to make Olive mad. Just a little poke. 6, 7.
Who did it?
Chicky.
Oh, that's why. I can't get mad at Chicky, but still.
And so this I'm going to post in my outline so that if you guys have time and want to look at it. So this is from Judd Legum on Twitter, and he was posting about the disclosure forms, right? And he kind of did a small little, like we were just talking about with Eli Lilly, right? Similar to that. So on March 11th, Trump buys 15,000 to 50,000 of Thermo Scientific stock. And then on March 11th, Trump tours Thermo Scientific facility, and he praises them as an incredible company and encourages pharmaceutical companies to partner with it. So their stock would go up. On March 25th, Trump purchases 50,000 to 100,000 of Micron stock. And then on March 26th, the next day, Trump calls into Fox News, says he met with Micron CEO and called Micron, quote, one of the hottest companies. So their stock would go up. On February 10th, Trump purchases $1 million to $5 million in Dell stock. February 19th, Trump tells an audience to go out and buy a Dell computer, saying the company makes phenomenal products. Now, this is just a tweet. I agree. I wouldn't like that in any other circumstance. But he posted a thread. So he's going to give you all the documents. What's that? Is that from the 113-page report? Could you fact check that with the disclosure form that I have hyperlinked for you? Yes, you could. He's got that. Apple. Micron. Oh, here's the Fox where he calls in about Micron receipts. Primary sources. Bro, receipts. Timelines. This is what you guys don't do on the right. You just say things with your fifis, right? As you cried about Ilhan Omar for the entirety of that 60 Minutes episode, instead of actually giving me primary sources. Yes, Tim Apple was also on the plane. Elon Musk was on the plane. Jensen Huang from NVIDIA was on the plane. I want sources. Maybe you have something I've never seen, but I doubt it because you don't even believe this when it gives you receipts. So again, I am going to post that tweet so that you can see that underneath it, right underneath it, he replies to himself with the actual receipts of what he's talking about. Okay? Because that's how we do things. Now, again, my entire point is so that we can have legislation, which we already have, it's just not being put onto the floor for a vote, to keep Congress and the president from trading stocks completely. I think it pulls the corruption out of it if you do not allow them to trade stocks. So Mike Johnson gets confronted about that. Maybe you guys shouldn't trade stocks, especially while you're making this money hand over fist in corruption, both Republicans and Democrats being able to trade stocks in this way while Americans are struggling. Here's Mike Johnson's response to that.
Well, look, the salary of Congress has been frozen since 2009. When you adjust for inflation, a member of Congress today is making 31% less than they made in that year. It goes down every year. And over time, if you stay on this trajectory, you're going to have less qualified people who are willing to make the extreme sacrifice to run for Congress. I mean, it's just people just make a reasonable decision as a family on whether or not they can come and move to Washington, have a residence here, residence at home, and do all the things that are required. So the counter argument is, and I have some sympathy, look, at least let them engage in some stock trading so that they can continue to take care of their family. Well, look.
They make like $174,000 a year. The average American is not making that. Right. And also he's smacked into the point. What you're making a year is not enough, which I agree. There are actually people, and this is true. This is where I actually differ from my friends on the left who think that we should lower the amount that they're allowed to make. I actually don't think we should lower the amount they're allowed to make. They have to travel a lot. And yes, we pay for that travel. However, what we don't pay for is where they live. So they have the state that they represent that they live in, and they have to travel to DC and be there for weeks at a time to do these votes, which I would prefer, right? Like this Congress has not been, because Mike Johnson is a feckless little fucking coward. They have not been in session as much as they should be. I think it's only been like 100 days. However, a lot of them will sleep in their office because they can't afford a hotel and they can't afford to rent a place in DC. So I have no problem with them getting paid, but he ran, like everybody's saying, ran smack dab into the point, which is that even what you're making with medical benefits that we pay for, they have universal health care. Good for them, right? Good for them. Universal health care that we pay for, they make about $174,000 a year. It's still not enough to feed their families, but the average American who makes less than $80,000 a year, fuck them, right? Right, Mike Johnson? While Donald Trump makes stocks worth millions of dollars. Sure. But let's get to somebody you guys don't like who's saying the same thing I'm saying. That's my point. I can agree. Both Democrats and Republicans trade stock. I don't think they should be able to. But do you know who the only people are? Which party is coming out and saying that they shouldn't be able to do it besides Josh Hawley? Oh, it's Democrats. Okay, it's just Democrats. Got it.
Also saw the reports about the president's stock trades this week. If House Democrats take back control and win back the House, what will you be doing to look at the financial dealings of the president and his family?
Well, first of all, we have a systemic problem that goes beyond the president. It's with Congress itself. We've got to ban individual stock trading, which is just an invitation to mischief and corruption. Members of Congress have too much political inside information. If you want to put money in a mutual fund, great. People should put their money in mutual funds and let the outside third-party financial institutions operate it.
Also saw the reports about the president's stock trade.
Digital, why are you like this? You want minimum wage people eating cereal without any nutrition? That's by design. It is by design. Let's take away that. Let's make healthy food affordable. Digital, can we agree on that? Let's make healthier foods affordable for people.
Not even just healthier foods. Let's make grocery stores actually, accessible for those who live in different areas that do not have grocery stores nearby.
Yeah.
There are literal deserts for people who can't get food, and uphold farmers markets, local farmer markets.
But farmers markets are expensive right now, unfortunately.
Something someone brought it up to me. I think it was you. It was probably you. Large corporate farms are now showing up at farmers markets.
Mm-hmm.
And that's heartbreaking.
Well, small farms are dying, unfortunately. Taro, you've been able to send the jewels that have the little picture, but they didn't pop up on the, they wouldn't pop up on the screen in the same way. It would show up in my little chat as, sending a jewel, and I'd have to, click on it, and it would say you sent a jewel. It didn't show up with an animation, so that's been new, which is actually really cute. I love that. So. He's not gonna load. Oh, there he is. Hello.
Ambrosia!
So you could just grow your own food.
If you don't.
There's a lady that wrote a book called Tiny Farms Everywhere. We're down to 2,000 farmers in America.
So I love that, and I wish I could. Honestly,
what he means, though, to be fair, I will bring him back up. What he means, though, is for the people who can.
No, 100%.
That's what we do here, and we do it with our community. If you're in an apartment, obviously you can't, right?
Well, you can do floating gardens and stuff like that. That's a possibility. You just need enough space to do so. And I mean, I don't know the cost for it because I haven't
seeds are cheap. Seeds are so fucking cheap.
Okay. I mean, it's been a conversation. The other thing too is I don't trust myself
Appreciate
I don't trust myself with dirt. That's all.
No, historically, there was so she goes into detail, there was a community in Washington, D.C. that was predominantly black owned. And their rates of home ownership, owner-occupied homes were so high and that's a sign of economic stability. So then the government went in and they kicked them all out of their homes to build projects because they were self-sustainable.
Yep.
Everyone had a garden. The church distributed pigs every freaking fall. Then the next winter they would process them and everyone would get ham. It's this is by design that they're starving you. And the food you're getting in the grocery store is mass produced. It has no nutrition. If you can, you start a fucking garden.
No, that's one of the things I really want to do is start a garden. Kev Dog, yes, floating gardens are a thing. Some people, a lot of I follow a lot of content creators who have floating gardens in their apartments, and they're able to get tomatoes and cucumbers and some fresh herbs and stuff like that. Don't laugh at me about floating gardens.
You don't need a lot of space. Well, we have probably 15 by 20 feet.
Yeah.
And that's enough for me and a bunch of my neighbors to get the stuff we don't use.
Yeah. I the point is, it doesn't subsidize your entire diet, obviously. But what you can grow off what you can grow off of cheap seeds versus what they make you pay at the Produce Mart in the market, it's astronomical.
America's now most watered crop is grass. You have 158 million people wasting water to grow grass, which is white supremacy. It was started in England as a sign that they did not have to farm the land they owned.
Yep. That's true.
Wake up, y'all. Bye.
But I am awake.
There's a Kayla in the box.
Not the kayak.
Hello.
Hello. I just wanted to tell everyone, I also agree it is incredibly achievable, and it is something that will literally pay you back. So you can literally get hydroponic gardens on like Amazon. I know we hate that place, but it's there.
Capitalism.
Yeah. You can grow fresh lettuce, fresh little tomatoes. Like we are doing container garden in a tiny $30 greenhouse that we got from Aldi. And I mean, shit, we're trying. Like we just got a red strawberry yesterday. So it is achievable and it can pay you back immensely.
Yeah.
So
it's just things
please,
to look
like,
into
if
that
you need
people
help,
might
ask.
not know about.
For sure. But yeah, I just wanted to say, if anyone didn't know, look into a hydroponic garden or start you a little container garden in a greenhouse. Seeds are cheap. You're right, for sure.
Thank you, my gardeners who are also gardeners. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Love you guys.
Love you. I didn't know. Did you guys know that I'm dead? Did you guys know? I'm dead. Ron Goat said, "Oh my fucking god, stop with the what?" Ron Goat said, "Oh my fucking god, stop with the white supremacy talking point. It's old, it's dead, like you." I mean, like, I knew, like, I'm 35. I get it, but, like...
Kev Dog, call. I bet you won't.
But, like,
I
damn.
bet you won't. Kev Dog, call. Little man baby.
Grow weed in your apartment. Yeah. Depends on the state, right? I'm in a state where you can.
I live in a state where you cannot.
Right. You're allowed to get, per individual, you're allowed to get a female and a male of each species of plants. So that ends up with a lot of plants. The problem with it is the amount of lights you need. There's a lot. Trust me, we've looked into it. We're in Colorado. It's expensive. And so actually it's going to be cheaper for you with a better outcome for you to just supplement your diet with vegetables instead of buying them from the market. Anyway, back to fraud. So if it wasn't enough that he is trading on stocks and bonds on things that he can effectuate the outcomes of, if that wasn't enough, we've shown this chart before. This is from the Office of the Pardon Attorney, U.S. Department of Justice, justice.gov. Okay, this is clemency grants by President Donald J. Trump, 2025 to present, starting in January 21st when he pardoned Ross Ulbricht. Now, some of these that he pardoned for are things that are not necessarily fraud. In this one, you do have fraud with identification documents and money laundering conspiracy, right? So conspiracy, murder in the second degree, that's not what we're looking for. We are looking for the people that he has pardoned for fraud, which he has, right? These are against rights. That's fine. You can look into those cases if you want to. Oh, I love this one. Here. Rod Blagojevich. Wire fraud under color of official right. 8 counts. Conspiracy attempted. Attempted to commit extortion under color of official right. Conspiracy to solicit and solicitation of bribe. 3 counts. Making false statements. He was sentenced to 168 months imprisonment and Donald Trump pardoned him last year. You guys have issues with that? No? What about Brian Kelsey? Conspiracy to defraud the United States, aiding and abetting the acceptance of excessive contributions. Oh, 21 months in prison. He was pardoned. No? That's our money. That's state money, tax money. No? Don't like that one either. Okay. How about Devin Archer? Conspiracy to commit securities fraud, and he was also convicted of securities fraud. No? 1 year and 1 day's imprisonment. He was pardoned. Anything? You guys got anything? No? Violation of Bank Secrecy Act. Securities fraud and wire fraud. 2 counts for Trevor Milton. He was pardoned. No? Then you have commutations, but willful failure to pay trust fund taxes. Thank you so much for the Viking Hammer again. Oh my gosh. I don't know if it's Seer or Sire or Siri, and I apologize if I am mispronouncing what your username is. Thank you so much. But willful failure to pay trust fund taxes and failure to file or return information. 18 months in prison and he was pardoned. No? Anything? He doesn't care about fraud. They are not going after fraud. They are committing it and pardoning it. And I don't know why you guys won't see that. The Chrisleys, Julie and Todd Chrisley, conspiracy to commit bank fraud and bank fraud, 5 counts, wire fraud, conspiracy to defraud the U.S. to obstruct and impede the internal revenue laws, tax evasion, obstruction of justice. He pardoned them too, by the way. No? Nothing? Guys are real quiet over there. Thank you for calling the stream. What country are you calling from?
UK.
Do you support President Trump?
No.
Oh.
I'm sort of in the middle, sort of.
Well, seeing as you can't vote in our elections, I asked specifically
Exactly, yeah.
Right. And the only thing I'll say as an American is that I don't co-sign the things he's doing that's causing hardship in your country, but if you do support him, come get him. You can't be 50-50 on, like, you're not here. But again, fraud? No? Okay. But that's there for you. You can read it. That's not even halfway through the fucking page. But you can read it. All his lovely, lovely pardons. Okay. Next. What we're going to get into, guys, it's 11:16. Let's make sure we're doing the good things. We're at 80,000 likes. I appreciate it so much. And make sure we can get to 100,000 likes before this ends. I would appreciate that as well. Guys, I have 6-7 left in my goal. Linktree in my bio, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. We can get that accomplished with a $1 train or a $2 train and try to get that done. Thank you so much, Michael, for the $5 super chat. You said those people can afford Trump's pardons. That's true. A lot of them, there have been stories about this. You can look into it if you want to. There have been people who donated to his campaign or donated to his funds or invested in World Liberty Financial into his crypto schemes, and they ended up getting lighter sentences or being pardoned. I wonder why. I wonder why that is. But let's keep going with the corruption, shall we? This is Axios reporting, but everybody is reporting it in case you haven't heard. Trump creates $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund after dropping his IRS suit. President Trump settled his $10 billion lawsuit against the IRS on Monday. I don't know why they say settled. He dropped it. I would have said dismissed. In exchange for $1.776 billion fund to compensate those who claim they were targets of government weaponization. The only thing I will say about this article is the way that this is worded. Because in the actual filing for the dismissal of the case, there was nothing in way of a settlement for this fund. So it's worse than we actually think it is. It is not settling with the IRS with our money to create this fund. He is using our money on the side. He's not getting approval for this slush fund. He's just creating it. It's not from the courts as part of the dismissal. It's not any of that. It's not legal. What he is doing is he's creating his own slush fund out of fucking thin air. That's what he's doing. The fund creates an unprecedented taxpayer-backed mechanism to compensate people who claim they were wrongfully targeted, potentially including January 6 defendants. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let CNN report on it because they're a little bit better in their words than I am, but it's still the same thing.
Breaking news, the Trump administration has just announced a $1.7 billion taxpayer fund to compensate what it calls prosecuted allies. And they gave it a name, the Anti-Weaponization Fund. This comes after President Trump dropped his $10 billion lawsuit against the IRS. CNN's chief legal affairs correspondent, Paula Reed, is joining us right now. So what are we learning about this, Paula?
Well, here, the Justice Department confirming this details about this fund that we reported over the weekend. And this is part of an agreement for the president to drop his $10 billion lawsuit against the IRS. And here, the acting attorney general, Todd Blanche, laying out exactly how this will work. Here, the Justice Department is asking that roughly $2 billion be transferred to the U.S. Treasury, and that...
Fogg, one, I'm not a Democrat, but what am I lying about? What am I lying about? Is he not creating a fund that could potentially give Jan 6ers money? It's interesting because Todd Blanche doesn't agree with you.
That fund will be available for people to apply if they believe they have been unjustly targeted by the Justice Department. The acting attorney general saying the fund will have the power to issue formal apologies and monetary relief owed to claimants. Submissions of claims are voluntary, and they also say here there are no partisan requirements to file a claim. Now, the deadline to file a claim is December 15th, 2028. So that would be shortly after the next presidential election, but before the next president takes office. Now, of course, this is something that has been met with outrage.
Fog, I love how you didn't answer my question. I asked you what I lied about. Can that be the next thing that you answer, please? I lied about the money laundering and fraud. I sure as fuck did not. Sure as fuck did not. I showed you. Primary source, the disclosure documents of his stocks and bond trades in correlation with him touting those companies and promoting them. I showed you that.
By Democrats and a lot of questions from taxpayers. We know that for President Trump, this idea of the Justice Department having been weaponized against him or his allies, his desire to help out his supporters and seek retribution, these are all things that are certainly a priority for him, but it is unclear if taxpayers are going to be willing to foot the bill to compensate people monetarily if they feel they have been unjustly targeted by the Justice Department. Now, in this release,
you guys can call the number. You guys have been real quiet this morning as we've covered insider trading, fraud, and now an anti-weaponization fund. You guys have been real quiet.
The acting attorney general compares this fund to a fund that was previously established under the Obama administration called Keep Siegel. Now, that had to do with redressing various alleged racism claims connected to the Department of Agriculture. Now, that was a $760 million fund. We've already seen Democrats seize on this agreement, noting that it's the president's personal attorneys negotiating with the attorneys at the IRS, the Justice Department, and the White House, which are all, of course, under the Trump administration's power. This fund is over twice as large as the one they're comparing it to. I'll leave it to our viewers to assess comparison between a fund targeted at trying to redress racism and one that would be over twice as large trying to redress grievances against the Justice Department. Again, enormous political blowback already before the details were even announced. I think we can also expect a lot of litigation over this fund.
I'm sure you're right. All right, Paula Reed, thank you very
much. I don't care about your pleasantries. I just needed you to do that. Now get out of here. All right. So then Donald Trump goes on, because he gets asked about this fund. Why should taxpayers pay, possibly, for January 6thers who you pardoned, all of them, remember? And we've gone over the few who've been rearrested. We're going to go over one today. Why should taxpayers pay for this? Why should we do that?
The Justice Department has this new fund that was announced today, $1.7.
Oh, Stacey, you didn't read that SPLC indictment, did you? How many pages was it, Stacey?
$1 billion.
Yeah.
Why should taxpayers pay for the January 6th?
Well, it's been very well received. I have to tell you, I know very little about it. I wasn't involved in.
It was his lawsuit. His lawsuit about his tax return being leaked, which again, I've said multiple times that I don't agree with. The person who leaked his tax returns, they're in jail, where they should be, because you shouldn't do that. Donald Trump said he would release his tax returns. He never did, but that does not give you any kind of right to release it without his permission. So they are in jail where the fuck they should be, because you don't just get to release people's tax returns without their permission. However, it was your lawsuit. It was your team. You're telling me they didn't notify you at all that they were planning on putting this fund together? So you just sit there while they do stuff? You didn't know about it. That's interesting. Hello.
Everyone else's suit only got a public apology from the IRS, but you got $1.776 billion.
Which, again, isn't even from the judge. They just made this up so that they could say, see, I dropped my suit. It wasn't even in the filing.
No, he just had his little treasury cook write up a fucking new slush fund for him.
Which, by the way, we're going to talk about the general counsel, which if you guys don't know what a general counsel is, it's a fancy word for lawyer. The general counsel of the Secretary of the Treasury resigned yesterday after this was announced. I wonder why. Huh. Interesting. We keep going.
in the whole creation of it and the negotiation. But this is reimbursing people that were horribly treated. It's anti-weapon
I want you to hold on to that. Horribly treated. These people were horribly treated.
weaponization. They've been weaponized. They've been, in some cases, imprisoned wrongly. They paid legal fees that they didn't have. They've gone bankrupt. Their lives have been destroyed. And they turn out to be right. I mean, it was a terrible period of time in the history of our country. And they worked on it. I know the Justice Department, it's really been working on it very hard.
By the way, I have it later. We probably won't get to it today. We can get to it tomorrow. It's just a small portion. This is why we say eat all of them. If you guys can't see who the fuck that is, that's Mark motherfucking Cuban. Do you guys remember when he was coming out in support of Kamala's economic policy? And so the left, the fucking liberals, came out and were like, Mark Cuban for president. No, this is why we say eat all the rich. Face the wall, motherfucker.
There's been numerous other occasions over the years where things like this have been done, but these were people that were weaponized and really treated brutally by a system that was so corrupt, with corrupt people running it, and they're getting reimbursed for their legal fees and the other.
Fogg, I talked about the fraud. The problem is that you can't assign it to just Democrats. Democrats commit fraud, so do Republicans. We just talk about fraud. You couldn't pin it on Tim Walz. That's the difference.
Things that they had to suffer. Yeah.
So again, mistreated. They were badly treated. Let's talk about those people who were badly treated, shall we? So badly treated. It must be tough to get treated so badly.
I swear to God, I'll head toss your ass into the fucking crowd, motherfucker. Easy. Hey, what are you doing? Shit's gonna get real. Shit's gonna get real. A fucking Nazi. Move back.
Look how badly they're treated as they barge in. The cops.
Get the top off! Get the top off!
They were treated so badly. And they're going to get compensated. You know how we know that? Oh, because Todd Blanche has confirmed it. And I will show you that right now. Let me see. What's this one? I have to find which one it is. Hold on. There it is.
Ben Holland. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Attorney General, this is an outrageous, unprecedented slush fund that you set up. Simple question, will individuals who assaulted Capitol Hill police officers be eligible for this fund?
Well, as it makes plain, anybody is
just let me know if they're eligible for the fund.
As was made plain yesterday, anybody in this country is eligible to apply if they believe they were victim of weaponization.
So, the January 6ers, people who beat the fuck out of cops, lost their lives. James Comey. That's okay. Did you listen to the pod save this morning?
No.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. Because they were saying, as much as I will sit here and admonish this, maybe James Comey, Letitia James, Monica, McIver, I can't remember her last name. They should probably apply for this fund.
Yeah, anyone that's been targeted by the government.
Should apply for the fund. Yeah. John Bolton. I was going to say Michael Bolton. That's not right. John Bolton.
So if we storm the Capitol, are we eligible?
I guess it's our turn, guys. It's our turn. But again, January 6ers are going to be able to apply for this slush fund. What Doge money, Mark? What Doge money? Oh.
Attorney General, let me ask you this. Are there going to be rules that say that if you've assaulted a Capitol Hill police officer?
No, Brandon Clark. I'm glad you're being partially honest, and maybe you just don't know. You said, I'm not upholding everything that happened, but it's be proven Democrats had undercover agents in the crowd. No, Brandon, what you're actually looking at is it wasn't Democrats. One, because that was 2021 before Joe Biden was sworn in, right? January 6th of 2021 was still Donald Trump's administration, so it would have been his FBI, his DOJ, his CIA, and what was found was that there were assets there. Now, the one thing that has not been proven, Brandon, is that the assets were sent there by the FBI. The FBI knew they existed, right? We call those informants. Assets are informants. They're people you pay. They did not know they were there. Those people just ended up being there, not in a professional capacity. They were there in a private capacity, Brandon. So again, I don't know if you're being dishonest or you just don't know. Nancy Pelosi was not in charge of January 6th. It has been 5 motherfucking years, and you guys are still spreading the same bullshit. Nancy Pelosi was in charge of the Capitol Police. That's who she was in charge of. Okay? Trump's FBI was against him the whole time he was in office. Brandon, sweetheart, get help. Get help. Get fucking help. You guys need fucking help.
Also, the gentleman who said that the slush fund is coming from Doge money, didn't you just break down what the money was from?
And Todd Blanche is literally at a meeting with Congress about the fact that it's taxpayer money.
And Doge didn't save any money,
No, they didn't.
Not close to 1.776 billion.
You know what I want to do, or I want to see a study on the height in mental health facilities being promoted more once this man finally fucking goes.
Well, hopefully, like I said, we're gonna have a lot to fix. So
yeah, we
committed
will.
a violent crime, you will not be eligible. Why not make that a rule?
I expect that, because I'm not one of the commissioners setting up.
Okay, so next step. Regulations on who can apply for this slush fund. If you have a violent conviction, right, you probably should not be eligible to apply for this fund per some of, not all of, but some of the Jan 6ers who were violent towards people and towards police probably should not be able to apply. Van Hollen is saying, shouldn't that be a rule? Todd Blanche is now going to talk about the fact that he is not on the committee of the commission, but he's going to get caught in the fact that he's appointing the members. You can make the rules.
I'm not one of the commissioners setting up the rules. I expect
you're
that there
appointing
will be
4 of the
rules
5
set up.
members, aren't you, Mr. Attorney General?
Pardon me?
You're
Van Hollen says you're appointing 4 of the 5 members, right?
appointing 4 of the 5 members.
I am appointing
You can
all 5
simply
members.
set up.
I'm appointing all 5 fucking members. So then talk to the people you're appointing and make sure that they make a rule that nobody violent can apply. Try that.
Up the rules. I would hope you would make a rule that anyone convicted of assaulting a police officer or a violent crime is simply not eligible. They should not apply.
Well,
let me ask you this, because you compared it to the Keepsiegel case. But I think you know full well that in that case, the settlement agreement was approved by a federal judge, including the payments to people who were not originally parties to the lawsuit. No federal judge has approved this fund, have they, Mr. Attorney General?
No federal judge did approve this.
So that's a big difference between this case and the case that you compared it to.
No, it's not.
Well, did a judge sign off on this case?
No.
A judge did sign off on the other one.
Yes, but your question was whether it's a big difference. It's not.
Of course it is, because that allows for an independent person to look at it rather than the
There was no
former
independence.
personal
There was no independence. There was a
attorney.
single commissioner. A judge signed off on it. A judge had nothing
Mr.
to do
Attorney
with
General,
deciding the money.
there was a judge who looked at it and signed off on it. So to compare
Thank you,
that
Peter.
case to this one is incredibly deceptive.
And it is. And we will keep going, guys. I've got about 30 minutes left. Can we make sure that we are working on the goals here? I have 7 left in my goal. I would appreciate it if we could get that accomplished, please.
Here, Kev Dog, if you send $70 to Monty, I will drop. Because I think it's really funny, Kev. Host never did. Okay, I'm guessing host. Oh, wait, no, Justin, don't touch the comment. Host never did not have a date to the prom or Ant's event in her life.
Never did. Hold on.
So you did.
First of all,
he technically
Never
said
did
you
not.
did.
It's
never
double
did
negative,
not is
you
a double
fucking
negative.
idiot.
You're right. I went to 2 proms. I went to my friend's prom the year before me, and then I went to my prom. You're right. I never did not have a date. You are absolutely correct.
Let me pull the class of 2020 line.
Well, you go to the
guys
prom with
got
me.
a prom?
Oh God, they're not that great.
Ha, COVID kid.
It's not like they were that
You
like,
missed out on
fantastic.
life.
No,
Goodbye.
nobody did. It's not one of the like highlights of my senior year.
I dropped your husband because I could.
That's fine. Okay.
But that's all.
So, Todd Blanche came out recently and talked about the fact that there is so much evidence out there of election fraud in 2020. And Van Hollen's going to call him out on that shit because there's not evidence. Again, here we are, 6 years later, over 60 court cases later, and nothing. Chris, didn't I not agree to your false lies? Sure.
The Attorney General is supposed to be the people's lawyer and defend the rule of law and not act as the president's personal lawyer. But in this administration, the Department of Justice is solely focused on pleasing one man, no matter the cost. Lest anyone forget, huge banners with Donald Trump's face hang from both sides of the main Justice building. This is the big banner of Donald Trump on one side of it, so that every single person who enters that building will see it and remember exactly what that man wants them to do. You're his former personal attorney, and you know exactly what he wants. In fact, he often posts it right here on social media, his Truth Social account. He wants to weaponize the department for his own political ends. And right from the start, you and your cohorts have worked to deliver what he wants, doing his political dirty work. 2 days ago...
No, Brandon, no, you don't. No, you don't. We have the paperwork on this. Please, Brandon, what I want you to do. I'm being so serious. I'm not trying to be a condescending bitch. Most of the time I am. But I'm like legitimately, Brandon. And maybe I just feel like that because you have one of my brother's names. I need you to Google, when we're done with this stream, I need you to Google the chain of command for the National Guard in D.C. because D.C. is special. Whereas most National Guards have to be approved by the governor of said state. D.C. is not technically a state, much to Democrats' chagrin. They would love it for it to be a state. Republicans would hate that. D.C. is not a state. So, D.C. falls under the purview of the president. So please look up the chain of command for the National Guard in D.C. and you will not find the Speaker of the House on that. Why? Because Nancy Pelosi was never in charge of was never as Speaker of the House in the chain of command for the National Guard in D.C. What she was is she was in charge of the Capitol Police. And she says, that's the video you guys all take out of context, is her saying it's my fault they weren't prepared. She is talking about the Capitol Police, not the D.C. National Guard. Then you can look at Mayor Bowser of D.C., the mayor of D.C., who reached out before January 6th to ask for help with the National Guard. The only approval that she got within the chain of command from acting SecDef at the time was to have it for traffic help, right? For traffic, to ensure that there weren't any kind of big bog downs or anything like that. That was the only approval she got, and that they were not going to be allowed to interfere with the crowd. It wasn't until that day, when everything went down, that everybody was trying to call acting SecDef, and even acting SecDef was trying to call Trump. I need you guys to watch the entirety of the January 6 hearings. I need you guys to read the actual documentation that they have. It is all there for you. There is no reason 5 years later for you guys to not understand this. And yes, Jay Bunkie, Trump did deploy the National Guard literally last year, and he was the one to do it. Why? Because he's the only one who can, besides if he gives permission to the chain of command below him, which is never the Speaker of the House. Nancy Pelosi, even if she sat there and said, no National Guard, it wouldn't have meant anything because she's not in the chain of command for the National Guard. Okay? Okay. Van Hollen, Todd Blanche.
You even suggested that there was, quote, a ton of...
Real quick before I do that, though, Michael, thank you so much for the $5. I appreciate you. W's to Michael. You said for 6-2. 6-2. I guess we're making
love that.
You guys just going to make me do it with all the numbers now? Is that what's going to happen?
6-2.
So, guys, we got 20 minutes left. Let's try to get that goal accomplished. I know you can do it. I saw you do it yesterday. I know times are tough. Gas is up. But guess what? So is mine, bitch. So pay a bitch. I love you all. Thank you guys so much for the support. Guys, we're almost there. I'm watching the screen. We are at 99,000 likes. You guys are so close. Do the thing. Make me happy. I will give you head pets. You love it so much. Keep going.
Evidence that the 2020 election was rigged against Trump. And here you are at a budget hearing asking for taxpayer funds to pursue the department's mission when you're using those funds to punish Trump's adversaries, reward his friends, and pursue his personal vendettas.
And that's what he's doing. Wait, head pets. W to you guys. You guys hit the 100,000 like mark. Thank you guys so much for hitting that 15 minutes, or 20 minutes, excuse me, before I'm going to end today. I appreciate you guys so much. Here's your head pets. Little head pets. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I didn't have to dommy mommy you, even though you guys kind of like that. If I have to for my goal, I will. Guys, what the fuck are we doing? 62? Come on. I said halfway. At least give me to halfway. That's $12 more. Let's do it. Let's do the thing. Okay. So we're going to talk about now is Van Hollen brings up to Todd Blanche this story that is being reported, specifically about a Jan 6er who was pardoned by Trump, who went on to rape a child. And Todd Blanche is going to say it's a lie. Receipts exist, motherfucker.
Let me go back to this slush fund because there's also an individual who, after being pardoned by the president, went on to molest 2 children. And that person actually tried to buy the silence of these children by saying that he would pay them some of the funds that he was hoping to get from your slush fund. Can you commit to making the rules so that that person is not eligible for a payout under this fund?
Well, you're obviously lying in your question because there's no way that this person committed to that. But the slush fund, as you call it, which is not, didn't exist.
I'm sure.
Now, here's the thing. Todd Blanche is right about one thing. The slush fund in and of itself did not exist. However, this Jan 6er was so convinced that he had money coming to him for compensation for being pardoned that he was going to pay off this victim. And I will show you that in a second.
I can commit.
Mr. Attorney General, don't ever do that again. I am reporting
what again?
What he said. He said on the expectation that he hoped to get some of the funds from a payout. He's been
From
hearing
you said from the slush fund, Senator, and
that's fine. You can call him out for that. Van Hollen is incorrect. You guys hear me? MAGA, do you hear me? Van Hollen is incorrect. The man did not say the money would come from the slush fund, which at the time did not exist and was not said. But the man expected compensation, which, as Todd Blanche has already shown us, he will be eligible to apply for.
Didn't exist when he said that.
This is the fund that the president and all of you have been telegraphing all along that you're going to use to help the president's friends.
Now that part is true. Even though there has not been a designated slush fund yet, the Donald Trump administration has talked about compensation for Jan 6ers and pardoning them since the campaign. That's true. He said they were unfairly treated, they deserved a pardon, and they deserved compensation. He has been talking about that since the campaign trail. The fund was just not named. Now the fund was named. But what he's not wrong about is a Jan 6er, pardoned by Trump, was sentenced to life in prison for child sex abuse. Just months after President Trump's mass pardons, remember, he did not have a committee get together and decide who was worthy of a pardon for simply just being there, trespassing. You could pardon that person. I probably wouldn't even really care. He didn't do that. He didn't go through and have a committee, because it wouldn't be him, but have a committee individually go through and decide who deserved a pardon and who didn't, or who deserved a commutation and who didn't. He didn't do that. He just pardoned every single fucking one of them. Okay? Just months after President Trump's mass pardons for January 6 rioters freed him from prison, months after, a Florida man repeatedly sexually abused 2 middle school-aged children. On Thursday, the man, Andrew Paul Johnson, was sentenced to life in prison after a Florida jury found him guilty of 5 criminal charges, including molestation, lewd and lascivious exhibition, and transmission of material harmful to a minor. Police reported that Johnson, 45, tried to keep the children quiet by telling them he would share millions of dollars in restitution money he expected to receive from the Trump administration in connection with his January 6th case. Quote, he said not to tell anybody, one of Johnson's victims testified. Both children later testified that they were too afraid to tell any adults about what they endured, according to the trial records obtained by NPR. We were scared, Johnson's other victim testified, like we didn't realize that this stuff was not okay because we were 12 years old. NPR does not name victims of sexual abuse and also withholding the names of their parents to protect their privacy. Johnson is one of several pardoned Capitol riot defendants who have been arrested for new crimes since receiving clemency for their actions during the 2021 insurrection. Opponents of Trump's massive pardons say the president's actions have instilled a sense of impunity among members of the mob who stormed the Capitol. He's expecting money to come, and he's going to be eligible to apply because there's no rules. Todd Blanche just said he's not in charge of that commission, even though he appoints it. Sit with that. Just sit with that while we move on. Senator Coons is going to ask Blanche, can he commit to ensuring that Donald Trump's family cannot apply to this fund? Can he do that?
Here, President Trump is the first president to sue his own government and then direct his chosen acting attorney general to reach this kind of settlement. Will you commit that none of President Trump's family will receive a direct payout from this fund?
Well, yes, but what you just said is not true. I mean, if I can correct that.
Please.
The president did not direct me to do anything. And secondly, when we said it was that the structure of the commission is similar to Keeps Eagle, that's true. It wasn't the case. The underlying case is not the same. The structure of the commission is the same as the Keeps Eagle commission.
Has it ever happened?
Carpenter, I am. Actually, we've talked about it multiple times on this channel. Is the hidden, it's not hidden because we know about it, so it's obviously not hidden, slush fund that pays off government elected officials in regulatory sexual allegations. I'm just as passionate about that. You know why? Because why did it take so long for the ethics report on Matt Gaetz to come out? So much so that Matt Gaetz was up for attorney general. Oh, I love that we're talking about this. This is the acting AG who took over for Pam Bondi, who got fucking fired, who was only appointed because Matt Gaetz had to step down because of the ethics report that was going to come out that they had it for over a year about him trafficking a 17-year-old to pay them for sex. And they knew. But they were okay and they were supportive of Donald Trump appointing Matt Gaetz to be the AG of this country until finally that report was going to come out, which actually, thanks to not only the Democratic Party, but Republican Congresswomen like Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, Nancy Mace, and Anna Paulina Luna. Thanks to them, that report came out. I agree. I agree in the same way that I agreed when Eric Swalwell's allegations came out and he stepped down from running for governor and then later resigned from Congress. He should have done that at the same time, and he did not need 5 hours to decide to step down from Congress. Just the same as Tony Gonzalez, who for months we knew about the staffer that he was having an affair with, who he was then harassing, who killed herself by setting herself on fire. Like we know about Corey Mills in the Republican Party, who nobody is fighting to have go when we know he has domestic violence allegations, along with sexual assault allegations, along with campaign finance allegations. Just like we know Sheila McCormick on the Democratic side had campaign finance allegations and she resigned from Congress because we told her to fuck off, right? I agree. Oh, you're saying it's hidden because we can't see it. I would agree with you. It's not transparent. We don't get the itemized invoice that we deserve to get. I am with you, Carpenter. Totally. That needs to be public. We need legislation to make that public. If it's going to exist at all, which I don't think it should exist at all, why the fuck do we have a fund to pay for any congressperson to protect them during sexual assault allegations? I'm with you. Why does it exist at all? But if it exists, I deserve to see the paperwork because it's my fucking money paying for it. Logical, you can say I'm angry and unhinged. I'm literally agreeing with somebody who doesn't agree with me. We are agreeing. This fund should not exist. That protects predators in our government. I agree.
That a sitting president sued his own government for $10 billion and then directed the settlement of the case and the establishment of a payout fund.
Not that I'm aware, but there's a lot of things that President Trump's the first of. No president had been indicted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Correct.
6, 7, 8 times either.
Correct.
Stop breaking the law, asshole!
No president's been indicted. And will you commit that none of this money will go to President Trump's campaign donors?
I am not committing to anything beyond the...
Real quick. Thank you, Michael. Again, W's to Michael for the $2 to get us down to 60. He said $10 in 10 minutes. Come on, guys. At least half. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Michael, so much. I appreciate you.
The settlement agreement itself, when you say campaign donors, that they are not excluded from seeking compensation.
Last
They're
question.
weaponized.
So, he's saying, the mic is right in front of you. Is it, Kyle? I'm not sure it is. Are you sure? Are we sure? So, Reed is going to ask him the same question, and he's going to give us the answer. The only reason I'm playing this, I'm not saying that he's lying. I'm not saying that Todd Blanche is going to allow Donald Trump or his family to apply for this fund. What I'm saying is, in case that happens, I want us to remember we had the evidence of them saying they were not eligible and that they did it anyway, just in case. Receipts. Cover your bases.
Blanche, how many taxpayers' returns were leaked by the IRS contract?
What? Kev Dog, I know somebody came in and said that Trump lowered the prices of aspirin and Band-Aids today. Thumbs up. I don't know if they're actually giving Trump accolades for that, if they're being sarcastic. It's hard to tell through text. But Kev Dog, you then said, how often do you buy Band-Aids and aspirin? Once every 10 years? Don't know about you. I'm in a 7-person household, multi-generational household, and I also have children. I buy Band-Aids probably once every 2 months. Aspirin, probably once a month with the amount that we use.
Oh, I was just gonna say, if you have a cat, the cost of Band-Aids and needing to buy Band-Aids go up.
I actually need to, I'm so not even kidding, I need to put that on my grocery list. Because we only have the really little ones.
That's what we have right now. Cats also affect your Band-Aid purchase time frame too.
By the way, I'm totally not kidding. I just put it on my fucking grocery list. I just want everybody to know.
Band-Aids.
Oh yeah. So thanks for the reminder that I needed to put that on my grocery list that I share with my husband so that I can have. We need Band-Aids in the house because we only have literally.
What type of Band-Aids do you get though?
Well, because for the kids we get the fun ones, which actually a lot of the times they end up being cheaper, but we'll buy the cloth ones too.
Oh, I purposely get the fun Band-Aids because when you get hurt, why not have a little fun afterwards?
Yeah, so we usually get Pokemon ones or whatever the fuck ones the kids are into at the time.
Aftercare with Band-Aids.
We don't even only have the small ones. We have the fucking square ones
yes,
that
serve no purpose.
What do you use those for?
I don't know. no. The
When you
fucking
have a
pad is
tiny-
like this big.
Yeah, I'm
When
gonna
you
start
have-
like sticking them together and making band-aids out of them
You
because
can use
times are tough.
you can use the really big one and wrap your entire finger around it when you have a paper cut, but you can't find it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I use it for.
Anyways, so Reed, yes, I think Reed's going to this again. This is for receipts to ensure that they don't get to apply for this fund.
Factor in the 2020 breach.
How many taxpayers, excuse me?
How many taxpayers' returns were leaked by the IRS contractor in the 2020 breach?
I don't know the exact amount, but a lot.
405,000.
By the way, can I get W's for Telroy? Thank you so much, Telroy, for the $10 for keep peeling the corruption onion. I absolutely will. I don't care what their party affiliation fucking is. If they are in the government and they are doing corruption, get the fuck out. That's all. That's like, duh. Absolutely. Diabetics, I know you've said you're friendly. You said, do you consider yourself to be a white supremacist? No, but I am white. So I benefit from the privilege of being white, and I benefit from the system of white supremacy. I am actively trying to break that system down, but I benefit from it. But I would not call myself a white supremacist. But again, W's to Telroy. Thank you so much, you guys. You got me down to 50. With the little bit of time we have left before we transfer over to me, as we can still work on that. Don't forget, you can still work on that, and I would appreciate you so much if we do. But again, no, I know you're friendly. DJ Bookie, I thought that was you, but I couldn't remember if it was your name or not, and I didn't want to say it if it was. I apologize for saying your real name, but thank you, DJ Bookie. Thank you.
427. One of them was Donald Trump. Correct? One of them was Donald.
Kev Dog, I said I use that much. I live in a 7-person household. I have 2 children, and then I live with a bunch of adults. My mom, my 2 adult brothers, me, my husband.
Donald Trump, correct?
It was Donald Trump and his family or others, correct?
Right. And Donald Trump was president at the time.
Correct.
So it was his IRS department that allowed this breach of privacy, correct?
Well, it was a criminal who worked in the IRS, yes.
Well, he was hired under Trump's admin. This is one of the Trump.
Well, there was a criminal breach that led to this.
No, I would not. Don't twist the words, Todd Blanche. Is he a criminal now? Yes, because he illegally released Donald Trump's tax returns, which again, I said, I'm glad that motherfucker is in jail. You can't do that. He wasn't a criminal when he was hired. You can't say that, right? We have to be honest. Just be honest. He's a criminal now because of what he did. He wasn't a criminal when he was hired under the Trump administration.
Yes.
Very good. How many of these 400,000 people have received monetary reimbursement for the breach?
I don't think any have, including the president.
No, they haven't. But you've authorized the president. Do you agree the president
I don't know why he's eating his microphone. It's bugging me.
should have reimbursement, correct?
No, we settled the case. No, there's no reimbursement to President Trump.
Well,
He
that's
filed a suit,
interesting.
Senator, but
So President Trump, you're going to assure us President Trump and his family will get no proceeds from this?
Correct. He will not.
He will not get. His family will not get.
Correct.
Okay.
And who will direct the distribution of these? Who gets the money?
From the victims fund? Well, there'll be a commission of 5 individuals that will be set up, and they will take in requests and claims and decide whether to do anything for Mission
Who
Apollo.
will name the commissioners?
I will. Or the Attorney General, whoever the Attorney General is.
The Attorney General. Okay.
Sorry, just to correct. And one of them will be done in consultation with leadership of this body.
Consultation. Well, that's good. But
Good. It should be. But again, the point. So Donald Trump's family and Donald Trump himself will not be eligible. Okay. So let me go back to Reed again to bring up what I already talked about, which is the Secretary of the Treasury is going to be the one that has to certify this payment, right? So if it gets approved, the Treasury has to certify it. Why did the general counsel or the lawyer for that department resign?
the order that you signed yesterday states that the government pay this settlement if the Secretary of Treasury has certified the payment. Is that correct?
Correct.
Is it a coincidence that the General Counsel of the Department of Treasury resigned yesterday?
I don't know if it's a coincidence.
Have you looked, checked?
Have I checked?
Yeah.
I've not. As to why he resigned?
It just seems to be very coincidental that a high-ranking member of the Department of Treasury, Senate confirmed, would resign the day that the Treasury Department was required essentially to certify these payments.
Well, I believe the IRS signed the settlement agreement as well. But yes, but I can't speak to why he resigned, Senator.
Well,
maybe we should look into that, because why would he resign the same day that this settlement into this fund was announced? It's not something you would question, because I would question it. All right, I have a few videos left with Blanche for today, and then we're going to do a couple funny, and then we will get the heck out of here. So this is, no, I'll save that one, because that actually has to go into something else. So then Senator Coons, hey, where were you that we agreed together? Carpenter, right? Carpenter Patriot, that we agree that there should be transparency in way of funds, right? So I agree with you. The fund that they use, one, should not exist. But two, the fund that they use for sexual assault allegations within Congress should be transparent if they're going to have one. Do we hold the same standard for this fund? Because Coons is going to ask Blanche, are we going to be given the information on these payments? Todd Blanche says, nope.
Your announcement said that the fund will send you quarterly reports. Will you commit to making these reports fully public so Americans know who's getting taxpayer dollars out of the settlement fund? This says they'll be confidential. This is Section 4, Part E of the settlement agreement.
The reason why I want to be careful in my answer is because there's obviously laws that exist around privacy that may prevent some of the information that the commission takes in from being fully public. Beyond that, there will be full transparency, and I commit to you that beyond the applicable laws that exist around privacy and privileges and whatnot. But as far as being transparent and having those quarterly reports released, yes.
Thank you. Your announcement said that.
So, well, they're private, and so we're not gonna, it shows you those. Where's the transparency? This is our money that's going to be used to pay these payments. And then I'm just going to give it to Patty Murray. She always does a great job to talk about how this is blatant corruption with Blanche and this fund.
Attorney General, right now, families are...
Kev Dog, no, Band-Aids, unless there's an injury on your nipples, Band-Aids are not used to cover them. What you are talking about are pasties, which I also have. If you would like to fund my pasty fund, you can definitely do that.
Are paying $4, $5, even $6 or $7 for gas. Inflation is at its highest level in years because of the president's policies. But instead of helping Americans get by, President Trump is literally using their tax dollars to set up a slush fund to enrich his own friends. On Monday, your department settled the president's lawsuit by setting up a fund with $1.8 billion, and you and the president will pick the handful of people who decide how that money gets doled out. So let's be clear. What we're talking about is nothing short of the sitting president of the United States looting from the Treasury for his own gain. Do you seriously think this arrangement is appropriate? The president telling the federal government to settle a case and let him pay billions to the people that he...
Brandon, again, please, Brandon, come back to this stream tomorrow, the next day when I'm here. But please look up the January 6th hearings. I want you to read them. I want you to watch them. Brandon said, inflation was 9% under Biden. Two wrongs don't make a right. What was inflation when Biden left office, Brandon? Can you do that research too? If you need to write it down, you can. I can write it down for you. I will ask you when you come back, if you've done the work. What was inflation when Joe Biden left office?
Chooses?
No, Brandon Kittle, not you. Not you, Brandon Kittle. I'm talking to Brandon Clark. There's two of you in there. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I didn't realize. In 2022?
What you just described wouldn't be appropriate, and that's absolutely not what happened, and that's not what's happening now. So you just set up a series of facts, most of which were not true.
No,
No, it's not. I mean,
the president has set up a slush fund, however you want to say that it got set up, and he literally will get to choose through his hand-picked.
What if inflation goes down to 3% when Trump leaves? Then it went down to 3%. And I would say, what policies got us there? Cool. Great. I wouldn't talk about his highest point unless I'm talking about the policies that got us there. Just be honest.
Appointees who gets paid that fund. That is absurd.
The president did not set up this fund. It's not a slush fund. It's been done many times. We have lots of funds.
I heard your response earlier to Senator Van Hollen. This is not comparable to the case that you cited. A judge was not involved. This is the president versus himself setting up a fund.
The judge wasn't involved in the distribution in the Keep Siegel case at all. It just wasn't. There was a single commissioner that was set up, not five. And so when
the judge signed off.
So that's a race the high inflation Democrats would talk about during his presidency. What Democrats were talking about high inflation during who? What are you talking about? Joe Biden didn't cause it to be 9%. COVID did, because we saw that worldwide. It wasn't Joe Biden's policies. Just as if Donald Trump was in office. If Donald Trump would have won in 2020, inflation still would have gone up because we were still dealing with COVID and supply chain issues. And I wouldn't have blamed Donald Trump for that because it's not his fault that a pandemic happened. Inflation is a made-up term. We're going to talk about made-up terms right at the end of this, actually. It's going to be part of my funny videos before we end.
Off on that case.
Yes, it was a much later point in litigation.
That's
right.
my point. That is all of our point. And I just have to tell you, this is corruption that has never been more blatant or more widespread. What is happening is you write the check, Trump and his cronies cash it, American taxpayers who are already being whacked with high prices are going to foot the bill. That's what we are seeing today, and that is what many of us are really, really angry about.
Blue, you're right, and that's going to get us into our portion. That's the end of our politics today. We will get into more tomorrow. We can talk about Trump's rambling shit in front of the construction of the ballroom tomorrow, specifically talking about the fact that they're building, this is his words, not mine, his words, a hospital, research facilities, and meeting rooms underneath the ballroom. It is drone-proof, it is missile-proof, according to him. It's a bunker. He's trying not to leave. I don't know when you motherfuckers are going to wake the fuck up to that. We still have not gotten to our health section about what they're doing in the health sector. We are going to get to the Epstein section and how that goes into Republicans and conservatives protecting predators and trying to keep, specifically in Oklahoma, I'm sure you've all seen, but we are going to get into it tomorrow, trying to protect child marriage as being a thing, even though Oklahoma did ban it. 36 people voted against it, and we will talk about that tomorrow. Tomorrow I probably will go a little bit longer. Mia already told me if I can stall tomorrow, so that is going to be my goal. But we are going to move on. Again, I will show you. I don't know how many times. These are my outlines. I do them every single day. I have one for every single day. A lot of this gets moved into the next day. It gets highlighted when we get through it, so I know what I need to put to my outline. And then there are sections we don't get to, so there's that completely empty. That's completely empty. Look. All stuff we haven't got to yet. Okay? Never ends, never stops. That's how this works. So, we're going to play a funny, though, while I figure out if Mia's getting herself set up. Hopefully her internet works a little fucking better today. But while we wait on that, play you a couple funny videos. So, speaking of made-up terms. Carpenter, you said terms are made up. You know what? You're right. You're right. Terms are made up. So let's talk about made-up terms.
So upset with us trans people. They say that we keep on making up new genders, making up new pronouns, making up new words. I don't know who else is going to tell you this, but all words were made up. In fact, every single word that I'm currently speaking to you in this moment in time was once, in fact, made up. Plot twist, invent was invented. So, if you're ideologically opposed to made-up words, I wouldn't want to yuck your yum. That's a brave stance. Shouldn't that mean you should stop speaking altogether? They're so
Language is just sounds that come out of our mouth that we use to communicate. We add the context. We add the meaning, which is why words are descriptive and not prescripted. And if you don't like that, all words are fucking made the fuck up. Maybe you should just stop talking. That's fine. None of us here will care. Stop talking. Stacey, I don't want to kill you. I'm not a Democrat. I don't want to kill you. You should probably seek some therapy if you have that much paranoia. There probably is a diagnosis for you out there, Stacey. Okay? It's meaningless to the point you were trying to make. I don't think it was. And then, for my, let's see. It won't let you stream. What do you mean, Mia? Ask her what the error message is. See if I can fix it. But for my Latinos and Latinas, we will understand this one. This is my last funny for the day.
I remember the
And we'll do this one.
moment that I realized that she's not somebody that you should mess with. I was 6 years old. I was visiting her in Mexico City, and the two of us were just sitting in the car, right? And we hit this traffic jam. There's a bunch of cars lined up, and there's this truck blocking traffic seemingly for no reason. And my grandma, my abuela, she's just sitting in the car, smoking, furious, right? Just, right, windows up. I for sure have lung cancer, right? And she reaches this point of like peak frustration. She's just like, hijo de puta, right? And she flicks the cigarette, window still up. She doesn't give a fuck. Just bounced right back. Then she gets out of the car, starts going towards the truck driver, leaves me in the car by myself, 6 years old, in Mexico City in the 90s, okay? What I'm saying is that things didn't go well. We were gonna have to call Denzel Washington to come get me back, okay? Like it was gonna be a man on fire situation. Technically boy on fire, the cigarette wasn't quite extinguished. And my grandma, my abuela, she just goes towards this truck driver, just like a woman on a mission, just a typhoon personified. And she's just like, oye, cabrón! Te lo juro, si no te mueves en este segundo, voy a agarrar mi te lo voy a meter en tu culo, lo voy a sacar de tu boca y te voy a usar como una chancla. ¡Muévete, güey! Don't worry, man. I'll translate. I got you. No worries. You were looking at my feet like that's where the subtitles were going to be. Oh. What's your name? Thad. Thad? That makes total sense. Okay, Thad. Okay, so Thad. So I'm sitting there, 6 years old, right? And I just heard my grandma say that if that guy doesn't move, she's gonna take her foot, put it up his ass, out his mouth, and use him as a sandal. And I'm sitting there 6 years old, and the only thought in my mind is that even physically possible? All I know is I don't want to find out, right? Now, fast forward like 3 years, okay? I'm 9 years old, I'm back in Mexico City visiting her, and around this time I learned this new phrase, okay? It's a very popular Mexican phrase. A lot of you probably know it. It's no mames way, all right? No mames way. Which is like, hey, don't fuck with me, bro, right? Now, here's the thing. I didn't know that it meant that, but
I just want to say, as somebody who worked in food service, constant. We used this constantly, working.
I would always hear my uncles and my dad saying, and I just like picked up on context clues. One day, I'm in my grandma's apartment. She comes out of the kitchen, right? I'm in the living room, and she's like, hey, Danny, take out the trash. And I look at her, just wanting to connect with her in her native tongue, right? And I go, ay, abuela, no me mames, güey. Okay, yeah, all right. Now the Spanish speakers know where I really fucked up. Thad, everybody else, welcome to Spanish 102, okay? Because here's the thing, Thad. No mames, güey. That means don't fuck with me, bro. But what I said, not realizing it, was no me mames, güey. And that little me changed the whole meaning of what I said. Because what I actually said was, hey, don't suck my dick, bro! So, yeah. So she turned me into a sandal, and I'm just a size 12 rainbow slipper up on this stage right now. I remember the moment that
Just some humor for the uncultured. We're trying to figure out what's going on with Mia's OBS. I have gotten this fucking message before on mine, and I can't remember if I just had to. It's the failure to start, and it's saying it's because of the drivers, but I don't remember if I don't think I updated the drivers. I think I had to are you up? Is it working? Oh my God, wait. Like, I thought I just had to exit that bitch and come back, and it was like, okay, I'm fine. When OBS
you always just close everything.
Sometimes I've had to uninstall and reinstall that bitch just to get it to work.
Hey, you know what? That's
whatever works. Whatever fucking works.
Control Alt Delete is always your best friend when you're dealing with technology.
Yeah, it looks like you're up. Okay, so let me get this redirect put in on here so we can get you going. I don't know why it says up.
I'm in a yawn. I think I might take a nap.
I'm gonna get some food. My God.
I ate and I have water, so we're good.
That's good. There it is. Okay, we're gonna save that one. We're gonna go look for this one. Guys over here on TikTok, just give me a second while we do that. That one. Okay. All right, so YouTube and Twitch, I will see you guys tomorrow. I appreciate you guys' support. Thank you so much for the jewels and the super chats and the bits over there. Thank you guys. I will be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, whatever time that is for you. And I appreciate you. Brandon, I saw that you decided you were just going to crash out and just repeat talking points about the key lime pie line and something about Biden forcing people to build EVs, which never happened. But if you would like to, you can call me tomorrow at this number. I will be back at the same time, Brandon, and I hope you come back. I hope you look up the things I told you to look up, and we can absolutely talk about that. I can walk you through it. I promise. I will hold your hand, but just kind of like this, because you probably don't wash your hands. But anyway, see